and this is Book Tease. Welcome to our very first episode. Book Tease is a podcast to help remind you that even the mom next door likes her fiction filthy. For the first few episodes for the month of January, I thought the perfect theme would be debut romance novels. First books by an author that really kind of got them kick-started. Because I'm trying something new. I'm sure they were trying something new when they decided to branch out into being an author and writing. And so, especially for January, it just kind of seemed fitting. So, the very first book I landed on is one whose series I am currently just gripped by. Like, it's got me in a chokehold. It's Queen of Roses by Briar Boleyn. And I came to this book because of On Wings of Blood, which I'm obsessed with. So do not be surprised if that is featured in a future episode, because On Wings of Blood is amazing. It's like Fourth Wing on steroids. Yeah, with vampires. That's what On Wings of Blood is. I love it. So I was like, what books do I love? And have I read the debut novels by those authors? And come to find out, Queen of Roses is actually a prequel to On Wings of Blood. So it's the same world, or it's the world that leads into the world of On Wings of Blood. And I was like, oh, I've got to read that. So I decided to, and it was amazing, and I loved it. Now, let's talk about Briar Boleyn. This is not the first book she put out. Briar Boleyn is actually the fantasy pen name for Finna Edgewood, and Finna Edgewood writes historical romance novels. So under Finna Edgewood, she writes a bunch of historical novels, and she decided to dive into fantasy because she was into King Arthur. She was into role play RPGing, things like that, fantasy, probably Renaissance festivals, because who isn't? And yeah, so she decided to branch out, and I'm so glad she did, because I loved it, and now I feel like I need to at least check out one Finna Edgewood book just to see. But yeah, so I have my notes. Queen of Roses is the first book in a 4-book series called the Blood of Fae series. And I'm going to give this only 2 spice levels, 2 flames, 2 teases, because it's like the slow burn of all slow burns. Be prepped, because this podcast will have spoilers. So if you haven't read this book yet and you want to read it and you don't want to be spoiled at all, then maybe stop, push pause, go read it, come back when you're ready. But if you just want to try it, let's dive right in. Okay, it was published in 2023, and it is a reimagining of King Arthur. So we're going to have Merlin, who is a woman, a high priestess in this book. We're going to have Lancelot, who is a woman in this book, and I love it. Her name is Lancelette, and she is the sexy, sassy, queer best friend of Morgan Pendragon, who is our FMC, our female main character. And Morgan starts off with a very tragic backstory. She witnessed her mother being killed by her father, and she was hiding under the bed reading a book, because that's the thing to do is hide in a corner or under a bed or in a closet like I did and read a book. But her father came in, and he was an asshole essentially, and he ended up killing her fae mother, her half fae mother. So she knew she was half fae, but she was taking this medicine, and it's a tea essentially to suppress any unwanted fae traits. So she's described early on in the book, like, I mean, it flashes back to her witnessing her father kill her mother, but when the book actually starts, she is in her 20s. I don't think it actually says, but I'm estimating in her 20s, and if I'm wrong, I mean, tell me, I guess. But they said that she's gray, dull gray, long hair, like she's made fun of, called a crone, because of her long, dull gray hair. And she was supposed to be the queen, but her father passed her on for his son of his second marriage, I believe. And so, she's been promised to be a priestess in the court, or the three. They have three goddesses that they worship, and the temple of the three is where she's promised with Merlin. So she's supposed to go basically be a nun. This Camelot world's version of a nun is what she's supposed to be. They can't have any sort of relationships. They're just being nunly. So that's where she's promised, but she still likes to kind of fight. And so she trains with Lancelot, who wants to be a knight, and women are allowed to at the moment. And yeah, so she's okay with not being the queen. She's okay with everything. She isn't really happy with being a nun or having to be essentially a nun, but she's like, oh, I guess if that's what I got to do, then that's what I have to do. I won't complain. I will do my part. I'm going to tell you that her brother, who is King Arthur and who is an ultimate jerk, he hates the Fae. He is bloodthirsty and just really mean. And she keeps trying to find the good in him, but he's not a good person. So he decides he's going to send her on a quest. And because, of course, it's a retelling of King Arthur and Camelot, and you've got to go on a quest. And of course, the quest is to go find the Sword Excalibur, because it's just perfect, right? I mean, why not? So she's got to go find the Sword Excalibur. And he says, if you go do this, I will not make you marry essentially the guy who's been trying to essay you. He's this horrible dude, got a big crush on her, he's obsessed, and he's already done some very bad things to her, snuck into her room, and anyway, he's been not nice. So she doesn't want to marry that guy, of course. So her brother's like, I won't make you marry him. I'll let you go ahead and enter the temple as our father promised you to do if you go find this Excalibur. He also kills some of her friends just to drive the point home. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to hit all the high points, but that also took place. So she's like, sure, I guess I'll go do that. I don't want to be raped and brutalized by my husband my entire life. So, okay. On a quest I'll go. And the night she's supposed to leave, Florian, the asshole that she's trying to avoid marrying, attacks her and she ends up killing him, which he totally deserved. And the male main character, which he kind of got introduced a few little times, not too important. He's just a hot member of the King's Guard. So he's just a hot knight guy that's popped up, and his name is Kairos Draven. And he figures out what happened, and he's supposed to go with her on this quest. Another thing, her brother, very kindly, is only allowing her 2 people to go on this quest, one of which is a man that's with the non-fiance, the guy she doesn't want to marry. So he's firmly in that guy's camp, so not on her side. And then Kairos Draven, who she knows is currently in her court as a guard in her brother's knight's army. But she knows he was previously an assassin. So she's like, who is this guy? I don't feel very safe. I'm going on this very long mission with these two people that I don't think I can trust. So that's what she has to do. But he figures out what happened, and instead of like turning her in, he goes, okay, I'm gonna hide the body. That's hot. And he's like, oh, we're leaving tonight. And we're saying that it's me who wants to do it. So go get everything ready. We're leaving now. So essentially going to cover up crime. Yes, please. Thank you. That's wonderful. If I killed a guy who was attempting to rape me, and you cover the crime up and then say, okay, and I'm also getting you out of here, you definitely go up in my estimation. So they take off for this long quest, and she's still taking this terrible medicine, and it makes her sick. And the other guy who's there, who's with Florian and his crew, he's like, okay, by the way, your brother told me that you've got to start doubling up on your dosage of this medication. And this medication, it makes her sick. So she's dying at this point. And that's kind of the goal of her brother, she realizes, is he wants her to die on this quest. He doesn't want her to come back. If she does, yeah, he'll deal with it. He'll be like, all right, but he's not bothered by if she lives or dies. He's like, well, take this medication, suppress all your traits, your powers, be miserable, be weak. She can't even eat. Well, Draven, he gets pissed off. He's like, quit taking that medicine. What do you even need it for? Like, what is it supposed to do? And she's like, I don't know. My mother took it. I'm supposed to take it. I don't know what kind of fake traits I'm going to get if I stop taking it. And he goes, well, let's find out. Because if you keep taking it, you're going to be dead. So, the other guy is not going to let her. Anyway, things happen, and Draven ends up killing Whitehead, I think his name is. No bad loss, because he was a jerk and did a bunch of mean things anyway. So, he's dead. Now they both killed someone. And they're on this quest alone, essentially. And you kind of get a quest alone, one bed kind of trope deal, and they start getting feelings. But again, like I said, very tension heavy, very slow burn, very just like, will they, won't they, should they, shouldn't they kind of situation, right? So that's what happens. And then we get to they meet some other characters. He almost dies. She ends up saving him, and since she's not taking the medicine, her appearance starts to change. She goes from this dull gray lifeless hair to gorgeous silver hair, and her skin, instead of being this dull kind of tinge, it's a beautiful golden, and she's got like fey etchings on her skin now. I mean, she is just like gotta glow up. 100%. She has glowed up, and she's looking good, and she's feeling good. And when she ended up saving him, they got ambushed in this hotel they stayed at. She was pissed, by the way, because she's been sleeping on the ground, and she's like, I finally get to stay in a hotel, and then they get attacked. And then she can't stay in the hotel. And she's like, well, I fucking wanted to sleep in a bed. So, not nice. Not nice that. They could have waited a night. But she ends up saving him and uses power she didn't know she had. Just all of a sudden, flames burst from her hands. And she ends up saving his life. But this other guy swoops in, Vesper. And I've seen a lot of people not happy that this Vesper guy appears, because it does start a love triangle of sorts. Again, all tension heavy, no real spice. But Vesper helps her save Draven, and she ends up using her powers to heal Draven. Again, totally unwittingly, like not on purpose. Happy it happened, but not on purpose. I don't know what's happening to me. Suddenly I'm gorgeous and I have powers and I can heal people and shoot flames. She's a little confused and still on this weird quest. And she, again, has been training to be a nun. So she has zero sexual experience. She has zero dating history. And now she's got two dudes who are kind of like eyeing her, right? Well, while Draven is keeping a respectful distance and, you know, being gentlemanly to a point. He's very broody, morally gray, but he is also being very respectful of her. Vesper's not. He's pushing the boundary and he's getting, sexy, and he's sweeping her off to the woods for make-out sessions and whatnot. So she thinks she's falling for him because he's being, up in front and center with her. And anyway, that goes on for a little bit, and she gets to where she feels like she can really trust these two people. Like they have a couple of attacks, and it's the two of them. And Vesper is a minstrel, so he'll sing and he'll help cook breakfast and be cute and sweet. And meanwhile, Draven's brooding, like, I don't like that guy. That guy sucks. And it creates a hilarious dynamic. But while Draven is very moody, he is also very witty. And it's great. But in the midst of all this, Lancelot shows up magically out of nowhere. She just shows up, her bestie. And there's a way she got there. And again, I'm not going to just spill all the secrets, but she's there and she followed Morgan because she's like, I've got to tell you what happened. Your brother started a whole war while you were gone. Like, you left and he started a war. He, like, very unethically attacked friends of ours that were staying in the castle. And he did all this and it was awful. So you've got to find your way back, and don't give him Excalibur, by the way, because he wants it to continue this awful war. Great. Great news. And Lancelot's also like side-eyeing. Like, she's met Draven and she's like, you're kind of a dick, but you're a dick that I know, and you're also a dick I feel like I could trust because, she knows him, and he gives off an aura of, I'm being brutally honest, Meanwhile, she's side-eyeing Vesper, and she's like, who is this dude? She likes women. So flattery will get you nowhere with Lancelot, and I love it. I love her. She's great. So she's like, I don't like this guy. I don't know this guy. I don't trust this guy. And he's all up on my friend, and I don't know. Filling you out, withholding judgment. I'm not sure about you. So they go on for a little bit. And then, towards the end of the book, and I'm flying through this book, they were attacked. Like, bad attacked. And they had, anyway, they're bad attacked. And Lancelot's in danger. And Draven can't get to both of them. And Vesper's gotten to Morgan, and he's like, I'm going to take her away where she's going to be, like, he's pulling her away from the danger. And Draven's trying to save himself, save this little girl they ended up finding along the way that they got to protect, and trying to get to Lancelot. And he's just like, go, I will find you, go with Vesper, because he's like, hopefully I can trust this dude, go with him, I will find you, and I'm going to try to save your friend. At least you're one person I don't have to save. So she lets Vesper pull her away, and it ends up being to her detriment because he backstabs her, of course. And there's this big cliffhanger ending that, I'm going to share because this is a spoilery podcast. But he ends up trying to kill her. She finds Excalibur. She pulls Excalibur up. While she does that, she releases this Fey goddess or Fey, queen, that princess, I think. You don't know everything about her yet, but she was down in the waters in the lake with Excalibur. So when she releases Excalibur, this lady releases, and she's like, okay, Thank you for releasing me. I'm not going to save you because I feel like you're, you know, I'm just going to leave you to your own devices, essentially. So Vesper leaves. She's laying there, stabbed because of him, dying, and the queen that ends up taking Excalibur, and she's like, okay, well, peace, good, best of luck. I hope you don't die. But before she leaves, she does give her one gift, and she's like, you don't remember me, and you don't remember anything about your past, so remember. She just kind of remember. And she does. She does remember. She starts to remember everything. And it's this huge cliffhanger because it's like, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on in her past that we don't know about? Vespers took off with, she ends up killing Vesper. So I do have to go back. She was nervous because Vesper was going to kill Draven and she heard Draven coming. So she ends up killing Vesper again with these powers that she still doesn't quite understand, that she can only use to save Draven, essentially. So she shoots fire, incinerates the guy. Incinerates. He is a pile of ash. And the queen is like, okay, well, he stabbed you. I'm taking Excalibur. Remember everything. Best of luck. And Draven ends up showing up and she's near death. And it ends with he does something and you don't quite know what, but he finds a way to save her. And essentially by creating a bond. And you don't know what that means. That's how it ends. And you're like, holy shit, there is something going on with her. Like, she's got a whole past. She is now bonded to Draven. He's taken her somewhere else. This lady has Excalibur. She might be bringing it to Arthur. And she's done killed another dude. So, holy fuck, what's going on? The way I ran to book 2, I cannot even. I'm like, I had my own flames going the way I ran to book 2. And book 2 was great, by the way. I'm on book 3. So, do I recommend this book? I do recommend this book. I would give it about, I don't know, man. I gave it 4.5 stars, 4.5 to 5 stars. It's hard. I don't like giving full 5 stars. I don't know, because I'm stingy. But I will give this one 4.5 to 5 stars because I loved it. Only a 2 rating for spice level. It's a very, very, it's like the epitome of a slow burn. It is slow burn. But the tension is great. She does have some sexy moments with Vesper. And at that point, you're feeling iffy about him, but you're not sure if you hate him. Maybe she's just going to keep both of them. You're not 100% at that point. So there is some sexiness, but it's not with the primary man. The wit is great. Let me take a sip of coffee and then I'm going to grab my notebook because I have a few quotes. I'm a coffee girl. Okay. Here we go. Quote time. I like this one. I was born to be a queen, but even queens can be set aside and forgotten, or worse, remembered but relegated to the shadows. Even queens can be forgotten. What? Huh. That's sad and true. I feel it, especially in today's society. It feels like it doesn't matter how powerful of a woman you are, people are trying to push you down and set you aside. But you know what? Just like in this book, women find a way to rise. I tell my daughter all the time. I know she's only 5, but I'm like, baby, you're going to have to work harder because you're a woman or you're a girl, and she will, and she'll do it. Even children's stories have a kernel of truth. That's a little scary, but true. Which kind of works because this is a reimagining of a classic tale. It's got King Arthur, it's got Camelot, it's got fae, it's got magic, it's got religion that you're trying to determine, and it's great because it is connecting it with kernels of truth from our culture, from real life. when you look at some of our religion and you look at the rituals and things like that, they aren't all born in purity. Some of them are, I'm trying to think of like an example, but we've got a lot of pagan rituals, even in Christianity, and we've got a lot of things that are cleaner, nicer versions of what they used to be. There might have been sacrifices and blood and things involved in the past that it's not that way now, but the intent's there. We're even like, even in Christianity, you have the offering where you're eating the body and the blood of Christ. I mean, did that come from niceties? I mean, I don't know. You tell me. So anyway, she's determining that in her own religion, her own culture. Where did this come from? Well, this is the spring festival now where we're, you know, essentially drowning a woman, but it's not a real woman. So but in the past, maybe it was. Maybe in the past there was a sacrifice of a real woman, and now it's just some symbolism. So anyway, just a little dive into that. It was really interesting. This one kind of broke my heart as a mother. She was my mother. She was everything beautiful, everything good. She was all I knew of that mystical emotion called love. Wow. As moms, that's what we are. We're our children's introduction into what a woman should be, especially if they're girls. What a woman should be, no matter the gender of your child, what love should be, what acceptance and not shaming and just gentle learning and things like that should be. And her mother was that, and her evil father took that from her. And then she was just, I mean, what a sadness there. And she witnessed it too. I like this one. And I'm throwing this in here just because it shows the wit between the two. They don't have dragons in this one. Like, on Wings of Blood, there's dragons and it's great. But here they have battle cats. Really cool. And they're like these huge cats that can also fly, and they're neat. So, I mean, it's a mythical made-up creature, but it's really cool how to have that in there. And they met one along the way, because that jerk that Draven ended up killing in the beginning, Whitehead, he killed a mommy one, and it had a baby, and the baby ended up seeing that Draven basically meted out justice for Whitehead doing that, and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to. They bond. These creatures really bond and get protective of the person they bonded with, and he bonded with Draven, and he follows Draven around. It's a girl. Sorry, I keep saying he. She follows Draven around. And this is so funny because this is Morgan's introduction to the battle cat, and she walks up to her and gives her a little pet, and she's like, oh, you're beautiful, you're majestic. And she goes, she's purring. And Draven says, stop taming the battle cat. Looking slightly annoyed. She's a killing machine, not a house pet. To which Morgan responds, says the man who snuggled beside her all night. I mean, called him out, right? Isn't that hilarious? And he did. He had snuggled beside the battle cat all night. He's like, we're supposed to know about that. Anyway. My final quote, all of life is a fight. There's no point in avoiding it. Meet that fight head on, because that's true even now, babe. Okay, so those are some of my favorite quotes. Some of the scenes I like. I really like the tension. I like when they were saving each other, because that's when the bond really was being forged, right? She got hurt, with the medicine and all of that. She was getting near death, and he, like, her body was going into shock. And the way he defended her and was like, you need to just accept who you are And what are you even scared of? And so the way he pushed her for her own good and then was there to help get her back to health and keeping her warm with his body. And then she went and returned the favor. She's like, I don't even know if I like you, but I know I can really trust you. And you were there for me, and I'm going to be there for you because I don't want you to not be here, you know? So she set people on fire for him and then tried to heal him and then was there to, you know, and they push each other too. So I like all those tension moments where you can actually feel the bond building. Like it started off as they're button heads. They're not liking each other. They think each other's hot, but they're just like, yeah, you piss me off and I'm stuck with you. And then you could see there's a respect. And then there's a like and a trust that builds. And I like watching that slowly build throughout this whole book to where you can actually believe it. Some romance novels just jump in there and they're fucking the first day. And you're like, okay, great, but where's the connection? How do I know that you love this person? I mean, you're just, if you even like them. So I really respect and like that that's how the world building and the relationship building was really nice. Okay. So I want to jump into casting because I like doing this. I have a book club that I'm part of, and we end every meeting with how would you cast? Let's all chat about that. How would you cast this? If these were, you could cast actors and make a movie out of this book. One, would you? Two, who would you cast? And one, yes, I totally would. And I think it would go great if we made a movie out of this because On Wings of Blood's amazing. I mean, we have a long, several movies we can make out of this. I mean, there's 4 books in this series, and then it branches into the other series, which the 3rd one's coming out in March. Thank you. Can't wait. So, fantasy, romantasy movies with a lot of action and blood and magic, and plus, who doesn't love King Arthur? And the Knights of the Round Table make appearance. I mean, it's good stuff. So, yes, short answer, done very long. I would totally be cool with a movie being made out of this. For Morgan Pendragon, and I went back and forth, but I have to go Freya Allen. She was in The Witcher. She was Ciri in The Witcher, and she's got that innocence, but that fire and spunk, and I think her look works. Like she looks like she can be a fae queen, goddess, lovely lady. And Morgan, you see her progression. I'm in book 3, and she is quite the badass. And I already know that book 4, she's going to be wrecking shop. So, it's great. This whole series so far is amazing. So, I would go Freya Allen. And for Kairos Draven, y'all, I'm not going to lie, I was looking at Jason Momoa because I have the biggest crush on Jason Momoa. Who doesn't? The man is tasty. But I did land on no for Jason Momoa. It's a little too on the nose. So, okay, for Kairos Draven, I'm going to go with Joe Manganiello. And he was in True Blood. He was the werewolf in True Blood. It's fire. And he's got that rough, broody, dark, bad boy look. But he's also able to show a softer side. And when he smiles, everything kind of transforms and brightens a bit. And he could be witty. And yeah. So, and plus the body. I mean, because they describe Draven as being very muscular and broody and knightish and morally gray, which we love a morally gray king. Yes, we do. So that's what I'm going with. And I want to continue this only casting the FMC and the MMC. But in my search for the perfect actress for Morgan, I landed on the perfect actress for Lancelot, and it is Florence Pugh. Look her up. She's perfect for Lancelot. She's got that like absolutely gorgeous demeanor, look, aesthetic with the blonde hair. And Lancelot is described as absolutely gorgeous. But she is a feisty lady. Like she's kind of can be bitchy, and it's great, like in the best way. Only like super sassy because she don't need a man. She likes women and she's roguish with them too. Like there's not a woman who can lock Lancelot down. She's off like different woman every night. She's doing her thing with her short blonde hair and going to be a knight. Yeah. And I think Florence Pugh can pull that off with being gorgeous, but also being incredibly feisty with it. I don't give a fuck kind of attitude. And I love it. So I'm casting her as well. After casting, I want to see if there's any other recommendations. If you end up liking this book, I definitely say read On Wings of Blood because, again, I'm obsessed with it. I know I've said it like 20 times, but it bears repeating. Also, I mean, like, I feel like most romantasy you're going to be into if you like this. So Akatar, of course, Sarah J. Maas, that fits. Bound would be great. That's a great one. Everyone likes those books, and there's a reason why. And I feel like romantasy has really got this huge resurgence. So there's plenty of books out there right now that are fitting this vibe, and frankly, I love it because I'm all for that fantasy feel. If you want to yell at me about Faye, or if you read the book and you like it, or maybe you hated it and you want to let me know, hey, Jamie, you are all raving about this book and I think it sucks. Please let me know. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook at Book Tease Pod. You can also find each episode on YouTube at Book Tease Pod. So if you want to just look at my pretty face or see how goofy and awkward I am in real life, hit me up on YouTube. Theme music is by The Scraps. And until next time, stay spicy. Thank you for joining me.
Baby.